Since the release of Marvel Contest of Champions, there have been 3 characters in particular that have been very core to a lot of the community's rosters as they kind of progress in endgame, and those characters are Scarlet Witch, the Black Widow, and their Thor. Now, there's a lot of really great content in Marvel Contest of Champions, content that you can use any character, and providing that you're a skilled player, if you can evade well, if you can parry well, then you're going to be able to beat that content regardless of what champion you use. However, at the same time, there's a lot of content that is BS in the fact that you need one of those very specific champions to defeat that encounter without spending a ridiculous amount of units on revives. And that's the real core issue of this update, is that the god tier champions are being completely nerfed to the ground, and we are not sure as a community at the moment that the BS is going to be removed as well. So when I talk about BS, I'm mainly talking about stuff like Thorns, I'm talking about spiked armor, infinity blast, stupid power gain, stuff like all or nothing nodes as well, stuff that you need like one of these very specific champions to defeat, or else, you know, you're completely screwed in that regard. I am all for a very skill-based and competitive version of Marvel Contest of Champions, and I like that direction, but I want assurance, or at least some sort of promise, that some of the BS that we have in at the moment, which is countered by champions such as Scarlet Witch or Black Widow, is going to be addressed or removed. There are better ways to do nodes like Thorns. For example, you can do it similar to something like Arc Overload, where you have it up for, I don't know, 10 seconds, and then maybe it has like a 30-second cooldown. So during that 10 seconds, you need to evade, you need to go on the defensive a little bit. There are ways to do skill-based nodes and not have it just like, you know, Thorns at the moment, whenever you attack into a character, you're gonna take damage. There is no skill to that. It is 100% either, you know, play a character that has regen and hope you get lucky on the procs, or use a lot of units on revives and potions. And that's the core issue with this update, is there's a lot of BS in the game. These god tier champions address that BS and counter it, and with them removed, a lot of the community are very concerned about that. And the secondary issue is that because these god tier champions have been in the game for so long, and have been the answer to all of the most difficult content for such a long time, that some of the new offers over the last few months to, you know, fully upgrade a champion or awaken it and get loads of additional levels, those offers have been amazing, and they were scooped up so quickly by a lot of the community that didn't already have these champions awakened. So they spent a lot of, you know, real cash in the last couple of months, thinking that, you know, after 2 years these champions were going to stay in a similar state, and now having that completely removed from them, you know, you can get the levels back, you can get the ranks and stuff back via reverting with the upgrade tokens, but you can't get stuff like the awakening gem back, the specific one for that, and also the additional levels. And I think, you know, if people knew that there was going to be a bit more of a baseline balance power level, people wouldn't have invested money into some of these champions. And that's why a lot of people are outraged at the moment, and a lot of people are angry. And I can feel that. I can totally feel that frustration. I very much understand that. Personally, I'm not super outraged. I'm waiting to see. Like, I have a very neutral opinion on all of the update until it's actually in the game, until I can actually see exactly all the changes that have been made, until I can play all the champions, I can see what's been modified, what hasn't been modified. Because at the moment, when we just have patch notes, sometimes, like we've seen in the past, and many other games, like I've been playing MMOs for about 10 years now, and in a lot of ways, Marvel Contest of Champions is very similar to a lot of MMOs. It's very hard to tell exactly how good stuff is going to be on paper. You need to see how it performs in the game. So I'm going to reserve like my exclusive final judgment until this is in the game. However, my initial appeal, and that's why I wanted to start the video on that point, is if you're removing the characters that deal with a lot of the BS, you know, in the most efficient way possible, you need to remove the BS as well. Like, that's a huge part of this balance update, I believe, that is yet to be addressed, and that's kind of the main point that I wanted to get off. We have more points and more stuff to talk about in this video. It's probably going to be quite a long one. We're going to go through all the patch notes and everything that's changing, but that's what I believe to be one of the main concerns with this as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to talk about today. The headlines, of course, being that Thor, Scarlet Witch, and Black Widow being nerfed to the ground. Some of the other lesser-used champions, like Spider-Gwen and Hulk, and Punisher and Winter Soldier, are being buffed up. They're getting quite a nice revamp there, which we've been asking for a Punisher revamp for quite some time, so that's pretty good. There's also changing to, like, all of the stats and values, and I'm not, like, 100% sure kind of the impact that's going to have. Nobody is until it actually lands in the game, so we're not really going to talk about that too much. We also have some new stats being added to the game. We have changes to Alliance Quest, Alliance War. We have these kind of these redoing your roster packages, because there are so many champion changes that we're all going to get like a nice bundle. But there's a bit of an issue with that, but we'll talk about that as we go through. Anyway, let's start from the top. So, additional stats. There are going to be 4 new additional stats added. They made it like an RPG reference in here. So we're going to have armor penetration. I haven't seen the stat armor penetration since Wrath of the Lich King in World of Warcraft. So it'll be a new stat that allows you to ignore a portion of your opponent's armor rating with every attack. Don't know how good that's going to be. Critical resistance, a new stat that allows you to ignore a portion of your opponent's critical hit chance when they're attacking you. Not very good on the offense, might be potentially good for defense. You got block penetration, a new stat that allows you to ignore a portion of your opponent's block proficiency with every attack. Doesn't seem very good, but, you know, because most of the time you're attacking into the opponent, you just want to be, like, attacking when they're not blocking. Then finally you have Challenger rating, which I don't know about. They need, like, a bit more of an in-depth breakdown on this. So apparently it's a new rating system that affects all champions. So taking a champion with higher challenger rating into a fight with a champion against a champion with lower challenging rating will see your champion stats increase, while there's 4 challenger ratings are based on the rank and rarity of each champion. I'm not really too sure how I feel about that stat or how it's going to impact the game. To me, it seems bad. It seems bad initially because it seems like, oh, you know, that's how they're gonna make it so that you want to use like 5-star champions over 4-star champions. But I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure because I'm not too sure if it's going to have like a negative impact. Like at the moment, like we clear Master Mode every month with 3-star champions. If I don't have much Challenger rating because they're quite low in comparison to, you know, the 5-star enemies in Master Mode, is that going to gimp me? Is that going to be like super bad? I don't know. It sounds like it is on paper, but I don't know exactly how it's going to work. But if that's the way it works, then I think Challenger rating is some BS. But again, you don't know until it's exactly in the game. So again, that's why I'm reserving a lot of my judgment till it is in the game, and then we can call out like 100% all of what I believe to be the BS there. So let's talk about the champion changes, right? We have a big old list of these. Abomination. We're going to start from the top. Oh, this is also one as well. One of the biggest changes is about how regeneration affects champions and how kind of that's calculated. So it's going to be calculated off the base health of a champion, and modifiers for regeneration will not increase that health. So for example, if you put like a Wolverine on Alliance War node and he gains like 500 or 700% more health, that won't increase the regeneration by 700%. It'll always scale off like the base health of the champion. So that has totally killed Wolverine as Alliance War defender, and Ultron, I imagine, is going to be considerably less valuable. So it looks like after this update, Mystic Dispersion champions and Spider-Man are going to absolutely reign supreme in Alliance War defense. Maybe Electro as well. But yeah, it's not really too much different from how it is now in the top tiers, to be honest. But yeah, not too sure how I feel about that initially. It's not a huge problem. I think it won't really affect like the top tier Alliance Wars and a lot of kind of like up and coming tiers. So I don't think it's too much of a huge one, personally. But let's talk about every champion, right? We've got Abomination. He has increased chance to trigger Fury and base Poison ability, so that makes him a little bit better on the offense and a little bit better on the defense, providing that you're fighting, you know, a champion that isn't poison immune. And plus, with Black Widow being kind of nerfed now, like even Abomination can like trigger poison on her. So Abomination, he might be an up-and-coming Alliance War defender for kind of this new era of Marvel Contest of Champions. Ant-Man. Ant-Man's getting a bit of an offensive boost, so he gets an increased chance to trigger Fatigue, which is the buff that he applies, which reduces crit rate, and with the level 2 you can convert that into poison, and we've got an increase on the base damage for that poison, so that's pretty good. Black Bolt now has armor break on all special attacks at all ranks and rarities. Seems like a nice buff. I mean, you know, like, numbers would be pretty useful in this context. Like, is it a big armor break? Is it a small one? Who knows? Black Panther, increased base critical hit chance, boost on special attacks, and increased base bleed damage for critical hit and special free bleed. Black Panther already was like a pretty strong bleed champion. He seems pretty good after this update. You know, we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see, because like, it's just increased. It's not a number. No numerical value there. And then we have Black Widow. So this is the big one, which is reduce max signature ability from 100% to 70%. So with Black Widow, you can no longer 100% guarantee that you're going to counter that Electro, that Thorns node, that Spiked Armor node, you know, that Spider-Man. So yeah, that's a big one. That is a big one there. So again, that kind of relates to like the start of the video. While there's still BS in the game, that's going to be a problem for me, and if they address the BS, then we'll see what happens with that one. So the next one is the Doctor Strange fiddle around there. So increased buff cycle from 7 seconds to 9 seconds, and reduce power gain to kind of match the new cycle. So we'll gain like 1 bar of power, I believe, every 9 seconds, and change lifesteal to flat health recovery instead of damage dealt, which seems like a nerf. It reads like a nerf, but again, no numerical value, so we can't see there. And the special 2, to correctly state that it only nullifies 1 buff effect, ain't too much of an issue. I think this, in some way, it's bad. It's bad for Doctor Strange, like a slight nerf as an attacker and defender, but in like the Road to the Labyrinth, where you have that all-or-nothing Doctor Strange, it means that you can probably now beat him with a vision or a magic a little bit easier. So I'm not too sure about it. I don't know if he had immunity to power drain, though. I can't remember that off the top of my head. But yes, that should make fighting Doctor Strange a little bit easier, a little bit more balanced. It isn't a huge change to Doctor Strange, but it is like a slight nerf to the character. So next up we have Groot. So Groot now gains cruelty as part of his base ability sets when snapping from pacifism. More Groot damage, boys. Those tasty Groot crits are going to be coming in. Groot's physical resistance buff has been put into his signature ability in place of the cruelty buffs, and physical resistance gained from snapping during pacifism increased. So that's good. Makes Groot a little bit of a better offensive character, and a little bit better at defending as well, because he can take more damage, more physical resistance. So not too bad. And then we've got Hulk. Hulk is actually one of the characters that I'm most interested in about this update. So he's a new animation for a special 1 attack, and the chance to trigger Fury now increases the lower Hulk's health is. Increased physical resistance. Hulk can now trigger Fury when attacking and when being struck. And these 2 different Fury effects can stack together. And special attacks now have a chance to stun the opponent. The duration of the stun increases for each Fury effect Hulk has active. And now when below, this one really intrigues me. When brought below 25%, Hulk now gains a massive Fury effect. I want to see what that is. I'm very, very interested. Like, is Hulk going to be the new, like, super OP champion? You just have him at 25% all the time? I don't know. We're going to have to find out, but I like that upgrade to the Hulk. It's definitely a start. I'm interested to see his special 1 attack as well. Could be interesting. Iron Patriot, getting the love he finally deserves. Increased signature activation health from 10% to 15% to match the other Stark Tech champions. Still not going to be a very good character. Still going to be worse than Iron Man and Superior Iron Man. He needs... I mean, if they removed Burnout as well, then that might make him... Like, that might put him on this almost an even playing field. But they need that as well. But anyway, let's move on. So... Magneto, Kamala Khan, increased base block proficiency across all ranks and rarities. Don't know if that's going to have too much of an impact. We need to see the number. Magneto, punch on special 1 no longer causes bleed. Bit of a nerf to the character. Look, very slight nerf there. That double bleed on the special 1 was always quite satisfying when you did get it off. So Phoenix has a little bit of an odd rework as well when we're moving on to the next character. So reduced her armor break to 35% to 25%, and now it's increased up to, you can have 5 of them, and they last 10 seconds. So I don't really see, like, it's a bit of an odd change, just a bit of a reworking of the character. I don't think it's necessarily, I don't know if it's a buff or not. I mean, I haven't seen, like, anybody play Phoenix with the armor break, so it's really hard to tell. However, I think the slowed rate of Fury buffs gained per Phoenix Force Charge, I think that's actually a buff to the character, because hopefully with this kind of slowed rate, it will allow you to stay in that like 5 to 10 Fury sweet zone infinitely, if you can manage your stacks of Fury well with the special 1s and special 2s. But we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see about that, because it was quite quick before, even with one Phoenix Force Charge. So I'm interested to play around with the Phoenix rework. So Punisher, this is where we get some new stuff for Punisher. He's very, very long overdue upgrade. He had, like, before this update, Punisher is the worst champion in the game. He has, like, nothing going for him at the moment. But now he has new animations for a special 1 and special 2. New ability Bleed, all attacks debuffs. Attacking an opponent has a percentage chance to trigger Bleed. Yeah, we've got no damage. No information on the percentage values here. So it's really, really unhelpful. But yeah, he's getting a new bleed and also an open wound. So whenever you're attacking like a target with bleed, you have a chance to deal some direct damage. So that could be interesting for bypassing nodes like Safeguard as well. And also has additional physical resistance. So it's alright, I'm not too sure. Again, we need to see the percentage values to figure out if he's going to be any good. So Scarlet Witch, this is where the Nerf hammer has been slammed down on this character. So reduced space chance to trigger Veil of Fortune. So Adora confirmed this is down from 100% to 85% at the max level. Reduced stun duration, 3.5 seconds to 1.5. Pretty bad. The stun was very, very OP on Scarlet Witch. Reduced regeneration from 20% to 5%. Slaughtered. Weakness no longer stacks. You know, to be honest, with a stun at the moment, you never get hit with a Scarlet Witch anyway. So, and reduced amount of damage reduction from weakness from 50% to 35%. Reduced chance to trigger stun and regeneration from 13% to 5%. And reduced power lock duration from 6 to 4 seconds. So with all of these changes, like, it's safe to say Scarlet Witch is still going to be okay. She'll still be a good character, but she's not going to be very reliable for anything at all. Like, she's still going to probably have, like, some pretty decent damage. She's still going to have the nullify, but just her, like, crazy OP-ness is just gone, and that came from like the power lock, the power drain. The power drain's still there as well, but it's just that it's the regeneration being taken away and the stun being kind of gimped down a lot that is going to have a real negative impact on this character. But yeah, I still think she'll be good. I'm not too sure if comparatively like a champion like Dr. Voodoo or Mordo or Hood will be better after the update. We're going to have to see. I think Magic, I don't know, she might be an up-and-comer. That power lock's going to be very, very valuable. Moving forward, because, you know, it's reliable on her level 2. Ghost Rider as well, I think might be an up-and-comer in terms of the Mystic class, because he has everything. The guy's got a Fate Seal on his level 1. He has a really, really decent heal. He's got like a power lock, power drain on his level 2. He's got a lot of stuff going for him. So I think Ghost Rider, he might be an up-and-comer in terms of the Mystic class. Then we have the Spider-Gwen buff. Oh, damn, about time, ladies and gentlemen. But, you know, not the best time, but let's have a look. So now switches combat mode by dashing backwards and holding block. Evasion chance on special 1 increased to 25%, increased duration to 10 seconds, and it now gives you a large boost to your critical hit as well. Increase the amount of armor break caused during Hunter Spider mode. Again, I want like a percentage on this. Like, that's what I'm curious about. Trap Spider mode now triggers weakness on the opponent when successful, and increased base critical hit chance. So I think the two things kind of determining like how good this upgrade is going to be is how much is the base crit increased by, and also how much is the armor break increased by. Those are two things that are very, very important to figure out whether or not, you know, Spider-Gwen is the best champion in the game, which is what we need to know. So Star-Lord signature caps out at 400 hits. This is a bit of an interesting one. So if you have like a 5-star, it's not going to affect anything in the Labyrinth of Legends, because when you get to about like, I think it's like a 300 and a bit combo, then you usually reach the enrage timer on a rank 4. So you don't really get to like 400 hits often. It is possible in certain scenarios, but it isn't going to be like a huge change or nerf for the Labyrinth of Legends. The problem with this change to Star-Lord is the Realm of Legends as well, and I think this is something they need to address in the update. They need to reduce the health of all of the bosses on the Realm of Legends, because for stuff like Wolverine and for 3-star Star-Lords and 4-star Star-Lords, it might be a little bit more tricky to get those down if you don't have, you know, the specific upgraded character. But I think with this update as well, we are going to see some nerfs to the Realm of Legends. Like, I think that is likely now that a lot of the god tier champions, which are very commonly used to defeat Realm of Legends, are being kind of taken down a peg. I think we're going to see some nerfs. I think we're going to see some slight adjustments to the health pool. But it means that you can no longer, as far as kind of I interpret this, use like a Star-Lord to, or a Black Widow to defeat Wolverine in the Realm of Legends, because his signature, well, 3-star and 4-star version is going to cap out at 400 hits, and I believe you need a lot more than that in both cases of the 3 and 4-star to defeat Wolverine. Definitely in the case of the 3-star, might be borderline on the 4-star, but I think it's like 700-800 for the 4-star. And the Black Widow, you're not going to guarantee counter that regen. So yeah, or actually thinking about it, Realm of Legends Wolverine, if he gets this update as well, if they push the champion health update to that character, so it just scales off base health, then he won't have like any regen at all. But I'm not too sure if it's just going to work for player characters or enemy characters. That's something I hadn't thought about that until now. I don't know if it will. It might do. Well, we're going to have to find out, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have to find out. So, yeah, again, like, a lot of this stuff is so hard to give an accurate prediction on how good it's going to be until we have it, like, right in front of us. It's just pure speculation from, like, everybody in the game at the moment. But remove the BS. Remove the BS, Kabam, and then we might be looking at a better Marvel Contest of Champions. So, 4, armor breaks no longer stack. Reduce the amount of armor break applied when ability triggers, and Fury from signature ability triggers now when a stun expires, so 4 gets the full effect of it. 4, after this update, is probably going to be pretty garbage. There are going to be better Cosmic Champions, I believe, but we're going to have to see. We are going to have to see. I think maybe like Miss Marvel might be the new, but not Miss Marvel Kamala Khan, the kind of like OG Miss Marvel, might be the best cosmic character. Maybe with Hyperion up there as well. I think it'll probably be between her and Hyperion for best cosmic. I reckon actually Hyperion might kind of nail that title there, but it doesn't. There's nothing promising for 4. Like, in comparison to his current state, it's just going to be cut down like so much. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen to that boy. So 4, Jane Foster has an increased chance to trigger shock to 100%. That's actually really good for the character on her special attacks. Kind of brings her in line with a lot of the Mystics, makes her a little bit more reliable. I'm actually quite excited about that. That'll make the character a lot better, so looking forward to that one. Ultron, reduced critical hit chance by roughly half, so kind of gimping his offensive output by quite a bit there. But yeah, we're going to have to see how he plays after the update. That's a very important thing. Unstoppable Colossus will now simply trigger at the... Unstoppable will now trigger at the end of a special attack. So it's done to increase their performance. And it will make Unstoppable Colossus like a little bit more difficult to fight when it comes to the Labyrinth of Legends, because that Unstoppable is going to be on him a little bit longer. But in Alliance War, he goes up a little bit with in terms of tier of defender. So that might be pretty good for him. Winter Soldier has a new Special 2 animation, a new bleed that applies on the Special 2 as well, and has a new ability called Ammo Stockpile. So whenever he uses a special attack, he will automatically switch ammo types, and there's a piercing one which will allow him to ignore armor, and also one that allows him to deal additional energy damage and removes a perfect block chance and reduces block proficiency. So yeah, I'm interested to see, you know, the exact kind of values on those things and how that kind of impacts the character. But Winter Soldier could be promising if he's, you know, given a bit of a beef up to his damage. He has that kind of EMP power drain at the moment, which is a little bit unreliable, but, you know, if we're having the most powerful power drain and power lock taken away from us in the game, and some of the power stuff is getting toned down a little bit and getting kind of less BS, then he might be really good. Who knows? Who knows? And Yellow Jacket's getting a little bit of a beef up. So his laser blast on special 2 attack animation has been split into 3 separate hits. So special 2 is now going to be a little bit better, potentially, than the special 1. Because that's the main reason when you're playing Yellow Jacket, you just spam the special 1, because you want to get the maximum amount of power stings on the opponent. And it also increases his value as an Alliance War Defender, because he's going to be a little bit more tricky to evade there. And special attack 3 now triggers a longer power sting, which I think it might just be a single one there, but if it's free and it lasts for 16 seconds, that could be pretty good. But I'm excited to see, you know, kind of the updated Yellow Jacket. That might make him a lot better as a, well, it's going to make him a little bit better as a kind of 4- and 5-star champion. So let's have a look. So going down, let's have a look at the transition packages, and this is something that I'm not terribly happy about. So you're going to get a package based on your rating that gives you a set amount of like recovery tickets and rank down tickets, and gives you like awakening gems, crystals, and stones so that you can redo your roster. But this package stops at 75,000 rating. And there is a huge difference between the roster of somebody at 75,000 rating and somebody at 250,000, which I'm on at the moment. I have a lot more champions, like especially after an update on this scale, that I need to rank down, that I need to change. So there needs to be additional package. There needs to be a package at every like 25,000 milestone, in my opinion. It's just insane, like especially some of the people at like 400, 500, 600k now. Actually, Ronan, so not Ronan Noob, Jensa M got to 600k. He probably needs to redo like so many champions. So yeah, having just like 9 generic 4-star rank down tickets is just not enough to redo the roster. I mean, like taking potentially, like looking at my champions now, I'm probably going to take like Black Widow, Thor down for sure, might take Scarlet Witch down, but it's all about, you know, playing on the first day, figuring out, you know, how good are these characters, and then adjusting to that. So, but I think we'll need a lot more than that, especially during the time period, because there's going to be a lot of champions that people want to play around with and test with. So we need bigger packages. Like that is a very important thing as well. And just to have this very small package for a 75,000 player isn't really enough. There needs to be a little bit more for people in endgame. So yeah, we need that stuff, Kabam. Like it's pretty obvious. Like it's a main concern of the community, and hopefully they're going to address that. So let's talk about some of the other stuff. If you want to read like how the rank down tickets and stuff like that work, check out this forum post. I'll give a link to it in the description below. But basically we'll refund you like all of the materials used to rank up the champion, which is awesome in comparison to the perfect block thing, when the only solution was to sell your champion. So I think that's quite good as well, especially for people that might have made like a poor rank up decision. It gives them a chance to go back and make a better decision this time in the kind of newer state of Marvel Contest of Champions. So, now what? When the patch is going to come on March 1st, right? And Alliance quests are going to start on the February 23rd, so that when the patch comes, there is going to be no Alliance quest and Alliance War for a week. So you have a week to play around, test out all these new characters, how they work, and just get comfortable with kind of the current state of the game, and they're going to return like Alliance Quest and Alliance War. There are going to be some updated, they said they're going to update Alliance War and Alliance Quest based on kind of player feedback and what they kind of anticipate to be like stronger than what we have to deal with at the moment, because, you know, a huge amount of the endgame power level has been chipped down. So I'm interested to see what they do. I really hope that they consider kind of readjusting or removing those like thorns, especially that there's like no super great way to deal with them, because I think in total, in kind of like my final conclusion, I would like to see Marvel Contest of Champions endgame move toward a more skill-based state. I want the game to be based on like how well you can play, instead of like how many times your Scarlet Witch got a decent proc. I think that's the right decision in the longer term for the game. But at the moment, while there's a lot of BS, a lot of stuff that you can't necessarily counter without spending a lot of units without those god tier champions, it's just not right to just take away all that stuff and still include the BS. So as long as that gets addressed, I'm open to it. I'm open to it, but again, I don't know my opinion. I don't know my opinion until I can physically March 1st, sit down, play the updated version of the game, and see how everything is. See how everything balances, see what changes are made. I'm sure it's going to be a really, really big and difficult week for a lot of players in Marvel Contest of Champions. I'm sure that in every alliance, there are going to be a few people that just completely rage at this and drop out. And I know it's going to cause a lot of tension in the community. But the thing that I ask is just be nice to each other. Like, we are all playing this game because we like Marvel Contest of Champions. At its very core, it's a fun game to play. And if you're watching the video to this point, you probably really, really like the game as well. And that's just what everybody is. We're just people just trying to enjoy this mobile game. And just try and remember that. Try and be good to one another, because I just see, like, people fucking, like, going at each other and arguing. And I assure you, like, from this video, I'm gonna get so many, like, hate comments from people that haven't even watched the video. They're like, fuck Kabam, fuck you, I hate this game. Like, there's so much rage at the moment. But try and think about it from a broader perspective. Wait and see what happens. Have an open mind. And I think that's the best we can do at the moment. I don't think, regardless of the amount of petitions, that they're gonna kind of revert this change. But if they are going to go with this change, there are ways that they can balance and accommodate this game to remove some of the bullshit, the reasons why people are angry at them, you know, nerfing Scarlet Witch. And I think that's the core issue that needs to be addressed here. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was a very long video, a very, very long video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have made it this far, feel free to leave a like on the video. I'm sure I'll probably get a ton of dislikes, so yeah, that would be greatly appreciated. But thank you for watching, take care, and have an absolutely fantastic day.